right, so we can do this problem on Desmos real quick. Just use a slider. Right here I determined that this is like a y is greater than -4. It's pretty easy to tell. Yeah, now we can just use a slider to solve this problem. We can just write down ry is greater than 60, less than 60, less than 60. Add a slider and just try to make this graph look the same as this graph. So yeah, I'll try to slide it down. Yeah, this looks correct. It needs to be negative because the shaded region is above the line. Where is this? All right, so we need to have this dot equal -4. That doesn't equal -4 yet, so we can just increase this bound to like -20. And just keep on lowering this until we reach it. Probably would have been better to go closer. But yeah, -15 is 0 to -4, and that means that r is equal to -15 since it's the same graph. All right, next problem. There's going to be a little bit more conceptual of a problem right here. So yeah, so set k, all positive integers are less than or equal to 160, where none of the integers are repeated. All right, so probability, you need to use the probability formula that is equal to number of favorable outcomes over number of total outcomes. So we got to find those two variables. Right here, this is the set. So it's going to be the number of total outcomes. And since they're positive integers, it's just 160. All right, there's 160 positive integers between 0 and 160. And then now, what is the probability? Now, what is the number of favorite outcomes? That's what we need to find. So right here it says, selecting a number that is even and less than or equal to 50. Evens are half the numbers, and is in a set of 50 numbers. So is this going to be 50 divided by 2? So let's go to number of total. We go to number favorable, and that's equal to 25. So now we just plug in the numbers right here. 25 right here, divided by 160, divided them both by 5 to simplify. That's equal to 5 over 32. Next problem. Yeah, this one is pretty hard, definitely, but it's actually pretty easy if you think about it. We can just solve it through each one. So there's just 50 players right here, and new player earns 18 points playing the game. And yeah, so there's a new data point added right here. We can just draw it right here. I'll just start just by pretending that there's one right there. And now let's start doing this. The median number of points per player for data set B is less than the median number of points per player for data set A. So let's start finding the median of data set A. We know that the median, let's go to like the middle number. So that's like equal to the middle. So if there's a set like 1, 3, 4, 5, the median would just be 1, 2, 1, 2. So it'd be like the second, or it would be like the third number, pretty much. So yeah. Yeah, we're gonna find the middle number, and the middle number can be found by doing like the amount of like things just divided by 2. Right here, there's 50 players, so 50 players divided by 2, the 25th player. So we gotta try to find the 25th player. that's going to be the median. So let's try to find it. Right here, this is the first player. He has 18. This is so there's 4 right here. So going to be like the 5th player. This is going to be 11. So that's going to be like the 16th. And then right here, this is like the 17th player to the, what's the frequency? This like around like 27. So 17th player to around like the 34th player, or like, you know, it's somewhere around here. 17th. So yeah, like around like 34th player. And so the 25th player is somewhere around here. But the thing is, though, we can't find that 25th player since this is a range from 50 to 60 points. We can't find the amount of points, therefore, because it's just a range. We don't know the exact point. So this one's incorrect because in the same way, if we try to find the median of the 50 of data set B, we would still be stuck inside of here. If we tried it again, the median would probably be like this. The median would be like 26th player. And yeah, it's just not there. So that's not possible to find. And right here, you need to look at this. Must be true. So maybe it is true. Maybe, but we don't know because we don't know the exact numbers. So it can't, must be true. And now the mean number of players per player for data set B is less than the mean number of points per player for data set A. That is true because by adding, like right here, we can see right here, this is like an outlier. It's way less than everything else. So the mean is definitely going to be less. So the answer would just be 2 only. And then now this one, this is a stoichiometry problem. You should be really good at this since you're in chemistry. So yeah, so now we just start by finding this scale factor right here. 1 inch is equivalent to a length of 73 feet in the actual office building. So 1 inch to like 17/3 feet. And right here, we're trying to get from x feet to inches. So let's start doing that. X feet times 1 inch over 17/3 feet. The reason why we did this was because we need to have the feet on the bottom. We need to have the feet cancel out, so they're gonna cancel out. So that's why I put it on the bottom, and I put on the inches on the top, so we can get inches as our unit. And now this gets us x inches over 17/3, and now we just this can seem kind of confusing, but essentially you just want to convert this to multiplication. So we can do that by x inches times 3/17. If you see how I did that, I put this number on the top, bottom goes to top, like so, denominator to numerator, denominator to numerator. So basically, you just flip it. You just flip it. You just flip it, and that's equal to 3/17 x. Just C. Now this one, all right. P greater than 1, T greater than 1. These stuff are, pay attention to inequalities. Pay attention. They're incredibly important at times. And yeah, but this we can just plug into Desmos. It's really simple. Yeah, just Desmos, honestly. Okay, so we have a cube root of p squared, and there's a shortcut to do a cube root. It's just CB RT. And now p squared. And now we want to use the tilde. The tilde, it should be on the top left of your keyboard. And that's equal to t to the power of 9/7. But we can substitute p as p to the power of 3n minus 1. It's right there. So just do that real quick. P let me try P, and then P T is equal to P to the power of 3n minus 1. All right. Now we know that P is greater than 1, and so is T. T is also greater than 1. So I normally, when I see that, we can just substitute a number. We can just plug in a number for P. I like choosing 2. And oh, there is a problem. Okay, yeah, this is a really great thing to actually point out, is that if you want to put like a negative, like a subtraction in the exponent, you need to use parentheses. So 3n minus 1. Yeah, make sure you use parentheses for the exponent. And yeah, the answer right here is 0.5061. However, you actually need to round it to 0.5062. Round it to the 4th decimal, so it would be this. And yeah, the one parenthesis 2, because 7 is greater than 5, so it'd round to 0.5062. Yeah. And now this problem, okay, this problem is pretty tricky. It seems tricky, but this is actually just a system of equations, if you think about it. So it's actually not even that bad. So yeah. And so right here, so we can like put like x1 maybe is equal to like 0, because it's x1, and it's y1 equal to 22 for this first point. And for this one is g negative 2 is equal to 0. This point here this is the x value of the second, and that is equal to negative 22. And this is the y value of the second point, so that's going to be y2 is going to equal to 0. And yeah, and now what is the value of b? So what I like doing here is I like turning I like saying a is equal to x, and put b is equal to y, and like the system of equation. So what we can do here is just plug in these values into this equation. So we do 2 different equations. So for the x1, so I do x1 squared minus x1 minus a divided by x1 cubed minus x1 minus b. Oh, what happened? Is an equal sign. Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, and this is all equal to, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, this is all equal to y1. This is really g of x, but yeah, now we do the second line. So that's with the x2, and that's with y2, so x2 squared minus, make sure you put this in parentheses, because if not, it may turn negative. It might have like a different signage. So x2, and this is minus a, and make sure you put parentheses as well, so we can divide it. And x1 squared minus x, oh wait, no, I forgot. Yeah, make sure you're writing the right things in Desmos, because that happens a lot. Remember, using x2, not x1, minus x2 minus b. And yeah, and this is equal to the y2. And yeah, and so we just try to find the y value since we put b as a y. And then yeah, and so the answer is 23. The answer is 23, because that's the y value of the intersection. So yeah, we just try to find the intersection between these 2 lines. It's pretty much a system of equations, and try to find the y value since we said the y value is b. And yeah, so it's 23. this one, this one is pretty important. So right rectangular base area of 24t. So base is equal to 24t. Length is equal to 8 over 3. And height is equal to 15. So what is the surface area? Okay. What is the surface area? We're going to find what we're actually looking for. That's the surface area of the right rectangular prism. So the surface area formula, you should remember this. 2LW, length times width, plus W times height, plus height times length. Easy way to remember this is like each one needs to be like multiplied by like the other one. So length needs to be multiplied by width. Length also needs to be multiplied by height. Width needs to be multiplied by height, as well as length. And there's a 2 out on the outside. So SA is equal to this. And now we need to find these variables. The thing is though, we don't know what W is equal to, so we need to try to find W. So another formula that we could use is we see that the base area is equal to 24t. We know that the base area is equal to width times length. Okay, we already know what the length is, okay? We also know what the base is, so we can just plug that in. Base right here, and then length right here to the length right here. And we just plug that in, 24t. 24t is equal to width times 8 over 3. And now we just pretty much simplify. Now we just isolate the W by canceling this out. We can do that by multiplying by the reciprocal. Pretty much like the flipped version of this. That cancels out. Multiply this by both sides. Now we multiply this. Is equal to should equal to 9t is equal to W. Okay, now we just plug this in to the formula. So 2 length times width, that's basically the base. So we just do 24t plus length times width equals the base, so we can just do that. Plus width times height, equal to 9t times 15 plus height times length. That is equal to 15 times 8 over 3. And now you pretty much just solve it out. You just multiply it. So, we get 48t right here. So 48t plus 9 times 15. So, and yeah, basically just multiply it out from there. I'll try to multiply it out. So yeah, so 48t, so 2, so 48t plus 9t times 15, so 9 times 15. I'm just gonna take out the 15, so 9 times 15, go to 183. And yeah, there should be a 2 on the outside. Wait, really? So I like to separate the t's. So this is where the t's are at. So 224 plus 9 times 15. And now this is where like the t's are. So t's is equal to this. It's not what actually t's equal to. So just gonna separate the t's and like the normal numbers. And then the normal is just this part. So 2 times 15 times 8 over 3. So to 80. So that means the answer is, the answer should be 318t plus 80. You just choose your own way of trying to multiply it. But yeah. All right, this one was hard. There are ways to solve this though. Okay. Two acute angles and two obtuse triangles. The way you could actually solve this is a really strange way, but it is a weird way, okay? But try to find a one that has kind of like everything, but not really. You know, or that shares a lot of these things. Pretty much shares things with both, or with like every single answer. All right. So right here, this one, for example, has 18x, like these ones, but also has the 280. The thing is though, it has a negative 280. So yeah, so shares things with two of those things, and that's why this is the right answer. I mean, I don't know how to explain that trick really easily, but it's just trying to find a one that like, trying to find kind of like a, like trying to find a trap answer, pretty much. Like this one could be seen like as the opposite, you know, because the opposite sign, pretty much opposite sign of this one, and this one though, you know, has negative 18x. But like honestly, it's really confusing. If you legit just have nothing to do, you know, try to find like if it has any similarities with an answer, but with like a lot of different answer choices, and that one will probably be like the correct one. That's a really weird way of solving though, so let's actually try to learn how to solve it. So two lines intersect exactly 1 point right here, forming two acute angles and two obtuse angles. The measure of one of these angles is equal to 9x minus 140, so 9x minus 140, which one cannot be the sum of any two of these angles. So let's try to find the sums of any two angles. So we know this angle right here is also equal to 9x minus 140 because it's a vertical angle. And then we also know that these two angles, this one and this one, they add up to 180. See right here, because they form a line, so 180 degrees. So we already know right off the bat it can't be this one. Definitely can't be 180 because, you know, this angle and this angle, and like this one, they form a line, so that means they form a 180 angle. And yeah, they're supplementary angles. And now let's try to find the sum of these two angles. So that's 9x minus 140 plus 9x minus 140. That is equal to 18x minus 280. So that means it can't be this one. And now, how did you get this? So now, which one do we choose? Yeah, that's the hard part. So now we gotta try to find this angle right here. How are we gonna try to find out? So we can just say this is like the acute angle and say this is the obtuse angle. And we know that these two angles, they add up to 180, like what we said before. So acute plus obtuse is equal to 180, which means, and now let's try to solve for the obtuse angle. The obtuse is equal to the 180 degrees minus the acute angle. Okay, so let's do that. Let's plug in the acute angle. This is the acute angle. So obtuse is equal to 180 degrees minus, we're going to put the parentheses, 9x minus 140. Okay. So we get obtuse is equal to 180 plus 140, since there's two negatives, so 180 plus 140, and then minus 9x. And that's equal to 320 minus 9x. So that, yeah, let's put that right here, 320 minus 9x. Right here, 320 minus 9x. And now let's add those two angles up. We know that this one's also equal to this obtuse angle since they're both vertical angles. So let's add those two up. 320 minus 9x plus 320 minus 9x. Let's get to 640. Add the like terms, minus 18x, which is this one. So cancel that one, which means that C leaves us with C as the right answer. All right, now this is the one that I got wrong. And this is a major reason why you need to read questions very carefully. The graph of y is equal to g of x is shown. This is g of x, okay? This is g of x. But if g of x plus 18, this is what I forgot. I did not read this part. I did not see it out. I just thought this was g of x. Always watch out. Watch out and read carefully. All right. But what does this mean exactly? We know that transformations go like this. Well, for this case, this is just a horizontal translation. So translations go like this: g of x minus like h. This is the horizontal translation. Notice how it's the opposite sign. It's negative. So this then would be, based off this would be then g of x minus negative 28, which means the h right here is equal to negative 28. That's the translation. Translation horizontally. Okay? So which of the following values could be the value of b? Okay. So, yeah, that's another thing. Value of b. So b could be, so b just has a multiplicity of 2, which is even, because the exponent is even. Exponent of factor is even. What does this mean? This means that that it bounces off, like these two, it bounces off the x-axis. It doesn't cross like this one. Like this is like odd. These are even multiplicities because they bounce off. They don't cross the x-axis. So it needs to be either one of these two. Right here, I don't see like a 1 anywhere, so I don't think it's gonna be this one. So I think it needs to be somewhere like 3. So it needs to be like x is equal to 3 in g of x. So x minus 3 squared, which means that b would equal to 3, right? Not exactly. Because remember, we need to include the horizontal translation, okay? So what is b now? So the real b is this number. It's just 0, 3, plus h, translation. And we found earlier that h is equal to negative 28. So just do 3 minus 28. That is equal to negative 25. That's D. Alright, thank you for watching this video. I hope you understand everything. Let me know if you have some more questions. And I can explain it more in detail. It's pretty hard to like explain these sort of things, but I can definitely help you through, okay, babe? You can definitely, I believe in you, babe. Like, you can actually learn this, okay?